today. How many of you dads in the room, when a question like the video we just saw is asked of you, how many of you just know the answer no matter what? Okay, like for real, dads, come on. Now help me out here. Mark, thank you. Ben, right, come on. Dads, anybody gonna fake an answer? Because I feel like, thank you, Mike. Okay, just Corey. You're gonna learn about it. You're gonna have to just fake an answer sometimes. I think whether you're gonna admit it or not, you're all too spiritual in this room, which is fine, but you have an amazing ability to fully commit to things with absolutely knowing nothing, Mark, right? I do. So my kids and I, we're in our new series called Summer in Psalms, and this is setting up what we're gonna talk today a little bit about. My kids and I, yesterday, and Angie said, what do you want to do today? Because we'll celebrate Father's Day yesterday with my family. And I said, I want to go downtown to Coeur d'Alene and go to what they call Car Lane. So there's a bunch of old cars downtown Coeur d'Alene that are fun to look at. They're old. Angie doesn't really like things that are old. But I know someday she's going to have to figure out how to like me because I'm old, going to be someday. But she's not a big fan of old cars, which is fine, but my dad grew up kind of showing me old cars. He restored one when I was a kid, and so I like them. I'm not a big car guy, but we went down there, and Bodie's asking all sorts of questions, and let me tell you, I knew the answer to every single one of them. That's a rumble seat. Oh, that's a tire. That's a wheel. That's a big motor, Bode. Trust me, that's a big motor. It's really fast. I don't know what it is, 350, 397. I don't really know, but it's really fast. Like, no way I'm going to say, I don't know. Because I'm the dad. I got to know stuff. And sometimes I feel like a dad, I have to know everything. I have to know everything about a situation before I step into it. Like, I don't like to barbecue a lot of times. The thing I like to barbecue are burgers and hot dogs. And that's about it. Because I don't know how to barbecue. Mickey, John, Eric, they all put me to shame because they're like, I smoke this kind of wood, and I smoke this, and I do this, and a friend of mine, Kurt, over here is like, we're smoking pizza. I'm like, how do you smoke pizza? Like, I don't know how to do any of that. But man, in a conversation, I want to fake it till I make it. So I'm like, yeah, I grill. I use propane. What do you use? He's like, wood chips. I'm like, I don't even, like, I feel like in those situations, I got to know what I'm doing. I used to say all the time, I don't like doing things I'm not good at. And I feel like we transfer that a lot to areas of our life. And I don't know if you do this, dads, but everybody in this room, I wonder if you avoid things that you don't feel confident in. Today we're going to talk from this topic. Just show up. Just show up. You don't have to be the best at whatever it is you're trying to do. Your family, dads specifically today, but everybody, they just need you to show up. They just need you to be there. They just need you to be on time. They just need you to be present. Because the people who impact others most are rarely the most impressive. They are the most present. They're the most engaged. Lexi, my daughter, she's 13. She's into cheerleading right now. She's not, doesn't really play a sport. She does, she's athletic, but her sport is cheerleading. This dad knows zero about cheerleading. Zero, that's a good thing, right? Okay, yeah, right? I know zero about cheerleading. I know zero about stunts. Angie was a cheerleader, so she can connect with Angie. But man, if Lexi's gonna talk to me about cheerleading, I'm in. Like, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to learn what a stunt is. I'm going to learn what a pom-pom is. That's about all I know right at this point. But I'm going to learn whatever it is. I'm going to try, and I'm not going to do amazing at it, but I'm going to try to go to the basketball game and not pay attention to the basketball, but watch my daughter. I'm going to just show up for her. I'm going to try. There are times that I'm like, oh yeah, my daughter's cheering. I got to watch cheerleaders, not the basketball game. I got to watch my girl because I want to just show up for her. And I don't have to know everything about how sharp she is or not sharp she is or how good she is or not good she is. I can just be there for her. Do I believe cheerleading is a sport? I do now. Am I into it? Absolutely. I'm going to just show up for my daughter in that way. And I wonder if dads, specifically today, if you feel like you can't connect with your kids, your wife, maybe somebody else in your family because I don't do that thing. All they want you to do is show up. All they want you to do is try. Moms, you can do the same thing. Kids, you can do the same thing. Your parents, I'll speak this from a parent perspective. Kids, your parents just want you to show up. You don't have to be into old cars. You don't have to actually think they're cool to say, that's really cool, Dad. I like that. Or you did a good job, whatever. You can just show up. Don't lie, don't make something up. You probably shouldn't do that. But the point is, just show up and be there. And that's our topic for today. And where we take that from in the book of Psalms, this whole series is kicking off from a specific verse in the book of Psalms or a specific chapter, a specific topic within the book of Psalms. Today, I'm kicking off from the book of Psalm, chapter 51. Now, this chapter is specifically when David screws up. David commits adultery and then basically murder and tries to hide it, cover it all up, and then he gets called out on it, and he has a repentive heart toward God. He just shows up. It's not perfect. It's a mess. But David comes to God. David comes to the presence of God in the middle of his mess. This is the note before the book in my Bible. This is the note that's written before it, explaining it. Psalm of David regarding the time that Nathan, so his mentor, his prophet they called, approaches him and says, you screwed up, tells him a story, and he's like, you're right. And this is David's response to it. Prophet came to him after he had committed adultery with Bathsheba and basically murdered her husband. This is how he approaches God. Psalms chapter 51, this is the first 3 verses. Have mercy on me, O God, because of your unfailing love. Because of your great compassion, blot out the stain of my sins. David comes to God with a repentant heart and knowing, listen to the tone of that verse. He comes to God knowing he's gracious. This is before Jesus. So folks, do we come to God like this? Knowing that we're forgiven, knowing that we're accepted in the presence of God? Because you are. Because of what Jesus did on the cross, you are forgiven, accepted, and loved, just like we prayed. Amen, you're dismissed. That's all you need to hear today. We can come to the throne of grace boldly, and that's what David does. God, have mercy on me because of your unfailing love. Not, I hope you have unfailing love. Not, I hope you have compassion. No, he says, because of your great compassion, blot out the stains of my sin. Verse 2, wash me clean from my guilt. Purify me from sin. Verse 3, for I recognize my rebellion. It haunts me day and night. See, he knows God is a forgiving God and loving God, but he comes to God as he is, open, imperfect, and wanting God to do the fixing. Our whole theme this year is to guard our heart, tend for your heart, care for your heart. And that's coming to God just as we are. So we're not going to only come to God as we are, but we're going to come to the people in our life as we are. And come to the party. Just show up. Don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the star on the team to come and make an impact and make a difference. The New York Knicks just won the NBA Finals. Every player on that team got a ring. Whether they played or they didn't, they get a ring because they had a contribution in practice. They had a contribution. They did some things. Michael Jordan is not the only one that got the ring. Probably should have been the only one, but he's not the only one that got the ring. Everybody else on the team did. And so the point today is you don't have to be perfect at whatever it is. And David models that example. His posture that we read about right there, it teaches us today that spiritual maturity is not pretending you're okay. It's bringing your real self to the situation. It's bringing your real self to God. It's bringing your real self to your family. This is who I am, and I'm going to be here. I'm going to learn. I'm going to adjust. I want to learn about cheer. I want to learn about woodworking. I want to learn about whatever it is. I'm going to be there for my family. And if you're not a dad today, don't tune out, because I believe this is for all of us today, that there's a situation in your life, there's a neighbor you need to show up for. There's a coworker you need to just go ask, how are you doing? You need to go connect with them. You need to show up for that family member. It's not your immediate family, but it's your aunt or it's your uncle, it's your niece or nephew. You need to show up and just say, how can I be here for you? What can I do? I don't know, when people close to me experience heartache that I have no explanation for, or I have no reason for, I have no answers for it. As a pastor, people will call us and say, our child just passed away, or I'm struggling through something incredibly difficult, and I don't know what to say. So sometimes part of me just wants to avoid it. I don't even want to call. I don't even want to text. I don't even want to be there because I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. But today, David's example is just show up. Do something. Say something. Kids, if you're at school and there's something going on that you feel a pull towards, that's the Holy Spirit. Just show up. What can I do? People come on here to serve or be a part, and it's amazing when people will say, what can I do? Can I help you? Yes, you can. Just show up. I don't know what I can do, but I want to help. And so dads specifically, or if you're not a dad, if you're an uncle or an aunt, same thing. There's somebody in your life you can show up for. There's somebody in your life you can do something for, and come just as you are. So here's another picture of what it looks like to just show up. You may know this story if you've been in church in any length of time, but I want you to see it with fresh eyes in the book of Joshua, chapter 6, verses 1 through 2. Now the gates of Jericho, we sang about it this morning, were tightly shut because the people were afraid of the Israelites. No one going in, no one going out. Verse 2, but the Lord said to Joshua, I have given you Jericho. How crazy is God? It literally just said, it's tightly shut up. He tells Joshua, I've given it to you. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like I'm blessed. Doesn't look like I'm forgiven. Doesn't feel like I'm healed. Doesn't feel like it's restored. God says, I've given you the miracle. It doesn't look like it. Who are you going to trust? You or the report of the Lord? When I was growing up, there was a song, old school Christian church song, and there was like, whose report will you believe? The choir, we shall believe the report of the Lord. Whose report will you? This guy's singing over here, asking the choir, and the choir's like, we shall believe. Right? That's like, But like, there's so much. How many went to a church like that? Anybody, right? Growing up, right there, right? Carl was the one asking the question to the choir. I was in the choir. Where that came from. Never mind, I won't go. I'll keep starting. Okay. The point is, whose report are you going to believe? The Lord's report? The Lord, the Word of God? Or are you going to believe what you see? It's real quiet right there. So the story of Jericho is the same thing. Jesus says, God in the Old Testament says to the prophet, he says, I have given you the miracle. I have given it to you. Verse 2 goes on, I've given you its king and all its strong warriors. So God has given each one of us victory. You've already given you victory over what's in front of you. What are you going to see? Verse 3 goes on. You and your fighting man should march around the town once a day for 6 days. He doesn't give them a lesson on how to fight. He says, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. It might seem unconventional. On the 7th day, when you are to march around the town 7 times, so once a day for 6 days, the 7th day, they're going to walk around it 7 times. With the priests blowing the horns, verse 5, when you hear the priests give one long blast on the ram's horns, have all the people shout as loud as they can. Then the walls of the town will collapse, and the people can charge straight into the town. So put yourself in the place of these warriors. That's not how I was trained to fight. That's not how the world says we should do it. Like, give and it will be given to you. Like, sacrifice and you'll be blessed. Like, not even financially, but just your time. Serve and I'll feel better. Like, love on somebody and maybe God will meet my need. That's not how it works in the world. But God says, I'm going to do it a little bit different. And so these warriors who are trained and skilled in fighting, they got to do it a little bit different. So they just got to walk. They just got to walk. And then they go home, day one. Their wife's probably at home and like, hey, what'd you do today? Just walked. Just walked around. What, you didn't like go in and kill anybody? Like you didn't like go fight? The Lord said he gave us Jericho. He's like, no, we just walked around it. Joshua's kind of nuts. I'm not really sure what's going on, but okay. Day 2, same thing. Day 3, man, I'm like, what army did I get into? I don't want to be a part of this one anymore. This is weird. I'm out. This is crazy. But there's no record of that. Everybody just kept showing up. Kept showing up. Kept doing the thing that seemed unconventional. Kept doing the thing that seemed contrary to what I think. Kept doing the thing that God told them to do. But it got boring. It got weird. Day 7, they're going to walk around at 7. And then, okay, I could get it. Maybe we're intimidating them. Maybe we're like, putting on face paint. We're going to make them really scared of us. And then we'll go in and take it. No, then you're going to just yell really loud, and then I'll do it. And that just seems crazy to me. But God had a design. God had a reason. God had a purpose. And he's trying to tell you to do something that seems unconventional, but we're like, it's uncomfortable, it's weird. I think I'm out. I think I'm going to quit obeying in this way. I think I'm going to quit holding on to the dream. I think I'm going to quit believing that God can do it. I think I'm going to quit showing up. But not Jericho, not Joshua's people. They followed. And to me, this had to be awkward, repetitive, unconventional, and confusing. But Jericho wasn't just about walls. It was about trust, obedience, consistency, endurance, and showing up when nothing seemed to change. That's parenting. That's marriage. That's discipleship. That's relationships. That's leadership. Dads, that's fatherhood. Showing up when it's uncomfortable. Showing up when it just seems like it's not doing something. So, what does that look specifically for us today? Maybe it's dads showing up to an emotional conversation when you don't naturally communicate emotionally. Maybe it's sitting at the dance recitals when sports make more sense to you. Maybe it's going to the tea party if you have younger girls. Maybe it's saying I'm sorry first. Maybe it's listening to stories from your kids or from somebody close to you that seem small but feel huge to the other party. Maybe it's praying out loud when you feel awkward doing it. Maybe it's just something that's repetitive. Tucking your kids into bed, driving to another practice, going to work again, and then again, and then again. Having the same conversation again, correcting behavior again, showing affection again, leading spiritually again. Because a lot of fatherhood, specifically, is doing ordinary things repeatedly with love. And sometimes obedience feels foolish before it becomes fruitful. Obedience feels foolish before it becomes fruitful. And maybe you're not a dad. Maybe for marriages, it's continuing to pursue each other when life gets busy, or having difficult conversations instead of just shutting down, choosing forgiveness, showing up after arguments. Maybe in a friendship or a relationship that's broken down, it's checking on someone again or reaching out. Maybe for your own personal life, it's praying when answers feel delayed. It's coming to church even through the middle of disappointment, praying when answers feel delayed. Because if you look at Jericho, the walls didn't fall because somebody had one emotional moment. They fell because they kept showing up in obedience. I shared with you a couple weeks ago that I ran a marathon on Memorial Day weekend, and I trained for about a year in order to do it. Took a few months off in the winter, was going to run it earlier, but one of the guys who was helping me train, he said, you're going to go out there and it's going to feel like you're doing nothing. You're going to run a 3-mile day or a 4-mile day, and it's going to feel like this isn't important. He says, but every day showing up is important. Doing the little things is important. Getting up and reading your Bible is important. That's not how we earn God's love, but that is important because our soul is being fed. Our soul is being encouraged. I don't want to go to church today. It's not a big deal if I miss. Last week we talked about being planted in the house of the Lord. It's important that you're here every little time because it feeds your soul. It feeds, and sometimes it's a sacrifice. Sometimes it comes at a cost of sleep, of money and gas, of your time. But God always meets you when we continue to just show up. So ways we can show up. How do we show up? I think every person in the room, specifically dads, need to show up first authentically. We need to show up authentically. Some of us, men, avoid situations not because we don't care, not because it's not important to us, but because we just don't feel naturally equipped for them. Maybe that's just me. But for a long time, I never wanted to golf because I suck at it. I am not a good golfer. Randy over here feels bad for me. I know you do. I know you do. And for a while, I just didn't want to play because I wasn't very good at it. And I'm still not very good at it. And I don't have enough money to go all the time, but I go when I can because it's fun to be with friends out in a beautiful environment hitting a stupid ball that never goes straight for me. And we can fix that, yeah. Just a little bit of money, time, energy, and effort. Give it to Randy, he'll take care of it for you. So sometimes people would say, you want to go golfing? And I'm like, no. And they're like, I'll pay for it. I'm like, no, thanks. I don't want to, because I'm not very good at it. And they're like, it doesn't matter. But inside I was like, I don't really want to be a part. A couple years ago, I was like, I'll just try it and go have fun. And so I just tell everybody, listen, I'm not very good. And if it's behind a tree, I'm kicking it out. I don't care about my scorecard. Randy, I'm kicking the ball. I'm having fun today. I'm going to hit it not in the rough, but in the weeds. If I find a golf ball that looks fun and nobody's claiming it, it's mine. I'm keeping it. Like, I'm showing up authentically. Like, I am not playing by the rules, but I paid for this round, so I'm having some fun. If you pay for it, Randy, I'll play by your rules. But if I'm paying for it, I'm having some fun. I'm just going to show up authentically if I go golfing. I'm just going to be who I am, and I don't care that much to be that good. I'm just going to be who I am. And in your relationships, dad specifically, but all of us, are we authentically you? God didn't create you to be me. He didn't create me to be you. And Paul has a moment in the scriptures with God. He's frustrated with God. He says, why have you given me, this is the thorn in the flesh. Why have you given me, he calls it a thorn in his flesh. You don't know if it's physical, if it's mental, if there's something going on in his body or his mind. He's just like, I don't like this. Make me a better golfer. Put hair on my head. Make me taller. Make me shorter. Make me outgoing. Make me an introvert. I wish I could play music. I wish I couldn't play music. I wish I could communicate. You can name whatever it is that you wished was different about your life. Specifically, dads, I wish I was a better dad than I am. I wish I was a better husband. Whatever that I wish I was, blank, if I had that, I would show up. If I had that, I could be an influence. No. Show up authentically. So Paul says that to God. And basically God says, no, I'm not going to fix it. Because in verse 9, he says, my grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. In that thing that you think isn't enough, that's where I become strong. Because then it's not you, it's God. And God, I don't believe God works through your sickness, cancer, like God gave me cancer so he could teach me a lesson. I don't think that's biblical at all. I don't think that's what this is teaching at all. He's not saying, I'm sick, so you're teaching me a lesson. No. He is saying, there's something about going on in my life, feels like a thorn in my flesh, it's very annoying, that I want gone. And God says, I'm going to work through this, Paul. Moses had a stutter. Moses came to God and said, no, I cannot be the one that leads your people. God says, yes, you are. Moses says, no, because he stutters. He says, I can't. You don't understand. I have a stutter. And he does it again, back and forth. And Moses is arguing with God. And then in Exodus chapter 4 and verse 10, Moses pleaded with the Lord. I'm not very good with words. I've never been, and I'm not now. Even though you have spoken to me, I get tongue-tied and my words get tangled. A little later, the Lord responds again. The Lord asked Moses, who makes a person's mouth? Who declares whether people speak or do not speak? Hear or do not hear? See or do not see? It is I, the Lord. Now go. Stop your excuses. Shut up, Moses. Insert Ben there. I will be with you as you speak, and I will instruct you what to say, because I'm working in what you think is not very good. Show up authentically. Show up as you are. Thoughts, warts, confusion, frustration. God, I am trusting you. Because dads specifically, I don't care how old you are, grandpas, great-grandpas, you are put in your kids' life for a reason. God made you the dad. You take ownership. You be the dad. Don't expect somebody else to do it. You're the dad. You be the leader of those girls, of those boys, of that family. God did not want another dad in that place. You are the one. You're called to love those kids, pastor those kids, pastor that family. Be the shepherd of your home. He did not make a mistake. You show up authentically. You show up consistently. You show up time and time again. Because showing up once may inspire people, but showing up repeatedly transforms people. You're transformed when it's consistently running, consistently praying, consistently showing up. In Luke 18, there is a story. It's a parable, so Jesus is trying to teach us and his disciples a lesson, and he titles this parable, The Persistent Widow. The persistent widow. Luke chapter 18 and verse 4 is where we'll go, but in summary, that Jesus tells a story of a widow who keeps coming to an unjust judge. So this judge is not God-fearing. He's a corrupt judge. And this widow keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps begging. And in Luke 18, Jesus is telling the story. He says, the judge ignored her for a while. This is verse 4. But finally, he says to himself, listen, I don't fear God or care about people. He's like, Jesus is telling the story, okay? So he is saying this to the disciples. He is painting the picture of a guy in charge who does not care about people. He's corrupt. He's evil probably. He does not care. But this is what this judge says. This woman is driving me crazy. I'm going to see that she gets justice because she's wearing me out with her constant requests. So Jesus continues this story. He talks a little bit more. Verse 7. He explains it to his disciples. Don't you think God will surely give justice to his chosen people who cry out to him day and night? Will he, God, a good God, keep putting them off? Verse 8, Jesus, I tell you, he will grant justice to them, to you, quickly. But when the Son of Man returns, how many, listen to this, when the Son of Man, when Jesus returns, when I come back, this is what he's saying. When I come back, how many will he find on the earth who have faith? How many will I find that stayed persistent, that stayed consistent? I didn't get it the way I wanted, so I'm done. I'm not going to keep praying. I'm not going to keep believing. I'm not going to keep giving. How many of us will God find faithful, persistently, consistently showing up for him and the people he's called us to be around? Consistently. That's what employers want. People who show up on time every day, all the time. If you get that, you may not be the best at what you do, but half the time you just show up, you keep your job. You keep your job. You show up late? Nope. You don't show up a time or two? See ya. Show up consistently. Consistently. And so the question I want to ask all of us dads, but all of us today, is can we show up all the time, consistently? Because our families spell love, T-I-M-E. Time with them. Not perfection, not money, not speeches, but consistently. Look back at Jericho, chapter 6, verse 14. On the second day, they again marched around the town once and returned to the camp. They followed this pattern 6 days. Verse 15, on the seventh day, they showed up. Israelites got up, went down, and marched, or got up at dawn and marched around the town as they had done before. But this time, they went around the town 7 times, day after day after day. We've all heard the phrase, maybe you haven't, but if you haven't heard the phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. It literally just means it was built over time. It dates back to the 1100s probably. And people were looking at one of the greatest cities in the world, Rome, that their infrastructure, their roads, architecture, governments, military, I mean, it was it. It was the one that was doing something. And they're reminding themselves that none of it happened overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. Your family's not going to be built in a day. Are you showing up consistently? Finally, we show up to build endurance. Because endurance is what carries us to the finish. James chapter 1 and verse 3. You know when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. Because I show up and it builds endurance. Strength is not the absence of difficulty. Strength is the willingness to keep showing up through difficulty. Through difficulty. Paul says it in Romans chapter 5 and verse 3. He's actually writing this to the church at Rome. Rome wasn't built in a day. We can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials. For we know that they help us develop endurance. And endurance develops strength of character. And character strengthens our confident hope of salvation. We show up when things are hard. What difficult thing have you been tempted to quit? What difficult situation have you quit believing for or showing up for? Is it a marriage? Is it a friendship? Is it a ministry? Is it serving? Is it a dream? Is it a prayer request? Maybe your relationship with God. You quit showing up because you felt like he let you down. Maybe God isn't asking you today to have all the answers. Maybe he's simply asking you, show up tomorrow. Show up for your kids. Even though you might be distant from them. You show up for them. You call them. You engage with them. You show up for the marriage. You show up for the family that you're not perfectly in agreement with on. Or maybe there's just bad dissension. You just show up. Listen, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, but I'm here because I love you. And I'm here. And that's what David does before God in the book of Psalms. He knows God's going to accept him. Maybe it's not a relationship today that you need to show up for, but maybe it's just your relationship with God. Because that's what David does in the middle of his mess. He just got called on the carpet, and that's his prayer to God, have mercy on me. He ends the chapter in verse 16. David says this to God. He says, you do not desire a sacrifice, or I'd offer one. You don't desire specific works. You don't want me to impress you more, God. You don't want a burnt offering. Verse 17 says, the sacrifice you desire is a broken spirit. You would not reject a broken and repentant heart. God, you would not reject somebody who comes to you and just shows up the way I am. So I'm showing up today in confusion and hurt to my family and to my God. Would you bow your heads? I want to pray with you today.